Ramblin Bob here again. So we're going to go over the part, what is this, update number 2. I'm splitting these into about an hour because I ramble so much I don't want to have people sit here for 2 or 3 hours straight without a little popcorn or a soda break, so that way you can watch them at your leisure. Okay, so now today we're going to do the testing of the outputs of all the ports and the input of all the ports. All right, so let's get started here. We're going to go and do the AC charging first, just to kind of see what you have as far as how much power that it pulls from the wall on the 3 modes that it has. Okay, so let's plug this bad boy into here, and then we're going to take the wire spaghettis, okay, and then we're going to take the app. Now we're going to use the app because that'll double check as this one. Oops, it got turned off on me. That we can see the numbers, they match up, make sure that everything is good with that. Okay, so we're going to go into the Bluetti app here. Oop, I went the wrong way here, guys. I'm not a good phone person, guys. I don't know if you guys are better at phones. You're probably better than I am. Okay, Bluetti. Very, very simple to use once again. I love this app for one major feature, and that's the offline mode. You do not, even when you get it brand new, if you don't choose to register it or anything, some people don't, you do not have to log in or register ever using this app. All you have to do is download the app, and then you can click the offline mode. There's the AC70, 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds approximately, and boom, you're done. That's it. It literally is that fast when you first hook up the app. So what I'll do is I'll set this here. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can. Oh, you know what? Let's put it here, because that way I know you can be able to zoom in on that kind of. Okay, so what we're going to do is, oh, actually we gotta change the charging to silent. Okay, we're going to do silent first to see how much power it pulls from the wall, and then we can see, okay, there we go, and then we can kind of see, you know, what to expect if you get a power station like this. Now I put it down to 75%. I ran a heater real quick, maybe an hour ago. That way you can have a fair balance. Usually when a power station gets under 10 or over 90, it likes to slow down, and that protects the battery cells and whatnot for charging. Okay, so we're going to plug it in here, and we're going to see what kind of energy it pulls from the wall at the silent mode, and then you can actually see what the real energy is pulled, and that way you can see that and understand that conversion loss, it's called, that you don't always usually get what's coming out of the wall, depending on the power station, of course, and the battery composition as far as the volts and everything. You know, the difference. It's like changing money. Sometimes they charge you a little bit, and energy's like that. Usually it takes energy to make energy. Okay, so we got on here, we have 260 output, and we have 269. So you're actually getting more than what's coming out. I don't even know if that's possible, but the meter, you know, the meter says what it says. So cool, I guess. Very cool. Wow, that's very surprising. So that way, I don't know, it feels like you're saving, like, you know, 10 watts for free. It seems like that anyway. Okay, so that's the silent mode, and then we're going to try the standard mode. We're going to bump it up here. So we go like this in here, and then you go to the charging mode, and then you go to standard, and then you'll see this bump up here. Now notice that went all the way up to 439, where it says it's coming out at 432. So that's strange, but very cool that it actually shows. Usually it's the other way around, where it's you know, like this would be like 470, and then this would be like, you know, 440 or something like that, usually, of what I've seen for power stations. So this is actually a very, very positive for this this station here. Now we were bringing in 268 on the slow mode, and now we're bringing in on the standard mode, we're bringing in 440. We're going to round it up, about 438, 439, 440. So that's very cool. This is a 760 watt, so that would take approximately an hour and a half or so to charge the whole thing. And notice, I'll be real quiet, the fan is extremely quiet on this model. That's something that I was very, very excited to hear and see, because a lot of times, you know, the fans on small power stations, or big ones for that matter, can get very noisy. So very cool. I'm very excited about that lower wattage coming out of the wall. This is a 120 watt grid right here. It's actually another power station, but it's a very big one, so I'm using energy from the 120 watt inverter of that system. But yeah, you're actually getting more into the battery than what's coming out. I don't even know if that's possible. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an engineer, but it certainly looks good with the numbers. Okay, so we're going to go to, and this is real world test, guys. This is why I do this. I don't have a background in engineering. I don't have a Sparky or electrician degree. I'm just a sound guy that plays with technology. Okay, so we're going to go from standard now, and we're going to go all the way to turbo mode. So turbo mode is obviously going to be the fastest way to charge it, and you can see that bad boy really jump up. Okay, so now you're hearing the fans a little bit, but look at the power you're bringing in. That's a huge difference, right? You just doubled the power. You're 930 watts coming in, right? 930 watts, and it's 936. Now notice, see, now it's a little bit higher over here than over here. That's what I'm used to seeing. But guys, you're putting in 930 watts in this little box. That will be done in just over an hour. That's very, very fast. And then obviously this little icon came on because that's turbo mode. So you can see, let's go one number real quick. We'll see how long it takes to get 1%, just to give you an idea. We'll wait just a second here. All right. There you go. So pretty quick, right, guys? So now the reason I don't use, oh, actually, we'll check it here real quick here, guys. Yep, see, 928. So the numbers are very, very compatible or the same on the app as far as the Bluetti systems. Bluetti has always been very good as far as the shunt measuring, if you will. It measures the flow of electricity and wattage and amperage and everything, and it's been very accurate as far as the representation here to here. So as you can see, it's literally like the same. Oh, see, it's starting to dip a little bit, and the reason for that is obviously because, you know, the battery is filling up quite quickly. We went up 6% in that very short time. I don't recommend, guys, using turbo. I am a fan of it. I like standard. Standard is the best for me. But the awesome thing is, if you want to, as you notice the fan difference, that was a very large difference. Now it's almost completely silent. It's about 40, maybe about 43, 44, 45 decibels, 46 maybe to my ears. My ears have gotten very sensitive over the years from subwoofers and everything, so I can tell sound pretty good. I don't have a meter, but I would say it's in the mid 40s with the sound coming out of here as far as the decibels. Well, once again, I don't recommend using the turbo unless you really need it. That is an emergency style. Hey, I have to hurry up for some reason. Otherwise, I'd highly recommend the silent if you have the time, because it's the best for the battery cells. It's the best for the sound. That way you don't, like in the background, the fans wouldn't turn on literally at all, and you'd be able to sleep literally like right next to this thing. You could have this in a camper or a tent or something like that and sleep right next to it. You wouldn't even know it's on, because if you put the screen to you know, go on standby, the only thing you would see is this, and then possibly, you know, these, if you have those on or not, is these little lights, right? Okay, so we were able to test the charging now. So yippee-doo. Okay, so we're gonna stop that here. And that was a very successful test, I believe. I like seeing the energy coming out of the wall, because it makes me feel better that we have 3 meters now, and you know that, you know, measure 3 times, cut once, you know, that old saying. So that's a very nice thing as far as, here, I'll put this here. Hopefully you can read that. Hopefully you can read that, guys. But you know what? I'll try to get it on an angle so you can see it here. There we go. You should be able to see that. On a bigger screen, it's obviously easier. On a phone, it's a little harder, but I don't want it to fall over, guys. Okay, so the next thing is going to be the AC inverter test. Can this bad boy take 1,000 watts that it's rated for? So that's really cool, guys. That's a lot of power coming out of this is basically the size of a car battery, a little bit more, a little bit bigger maybe. But we're going to plug this bad boy on. Now this is actually hooked to, if you see on the floor there, this is a 1500 watt 3 power level radiated heater. And that's, I use that for my test because it's very silent. I like not loud noises anymore because of all the sound of years of audio. So we're gonna test it right away. It hasn't even broke a sweat, guys. If you could see the, let's see if this bad boy works. I haven't used it in a little while here. Is it? Oh, there we go. Okay. So as you can see, the power station, guys, look at this, 76 degrees. Remember, we just pumped in 900 and some watts. We'll do the top. That's usually where the heat would, you know, collect, obviously. 78 degrees. In this room right now, I'll give you an idea on the table. It's 72 degrees approximately. So it literally lifted about 4 degrees past what it is in the ambient temperature of the room. Okay, so we're going to start at level 1. Oh, I got to turn the AC inverter on. Guys, I thought it was broken. Okay, so I always forget to do that. I don't know if you guys do that too. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to go here, and now we're going to put it on the low mode. And the low mode is approximately 600 and some watts. So we're going to see how it runs for a few seconds to a minute or so, just to kind of see, and then we can take our temperature readings, you know, just to double check and see what kind of heat we're building up in there. So far, guys, I've had this a few days and I've tested it a few cycles now. I like it a lot. This is like a AC2A on steroids. I think that's the best way to explain it. It's like the uncle to the AC2A. Very minimalistic features. However, it has features that some of my very large power stations don't have, that are much bigger than this thing, and we'll get to that later. Okay, so 633 watts, and as you can see on here, maybe I can't put this back here. Okay, so you got 633 watts. You see how absolutely accurate this is? I'm hoping other companies tweak their apps so you can get a very good representation, so you know exactly where your power is going and how much you're using. I think that's very valuable information, obviously, and it to be it's literally 632. It's probably 99% accurate, because every once in a while you'll see this change and then this might change as far as like one watt or so, something like that, but I haven't seen a much more variation than that. Okay, so it ran 630 watts. See, that's 631 it said, and it says 632. Now that could be 631.5, and this would round it up to, you know, the shunts are different, but this is usually a representation of what it sees on the screen. So very good job, Bluetti, as far as getting your accuracy. See how this dropped down to 631, and then that stayed at 632. So every once in a great while, but very good representation of numbers and the accuracy for the app compared to the meter on the screen. Okay, and then we're going to go to power level number 2. Okay, so power level 2 is just under 1,000 watts. Now remember, that's what this inverter is rated for, about 1,000 watts. Now notice the fan kicked up. Just give you a few seconds to hear it. So 950 watts, guys. This thing is running like a champ. It's a very powerful little box. I wish I had this 20 years ago. I'll tell you, this technology, guys, have literally, no jokes, it has changed my life. I'll tell the story till the day I pass away. I was running a Honda EU 2000 generator, EU 2000i, which is the very good generator, very quiet for its power, rated about 1,600 watts. I love the generator, guys, but when you deal with generators, you deal with oil changes, gasoline storage, carbon monoxide, possible, you know, bad things could happen, obviously, if you breathe that in, or stuck in a room with that stuff, obviously. So you have to, your ventilation has to be very good. This needs like zero ventilation. You could put this in a van or a tent, and you like I said, you wouldn't even know it's on. The air quality doesn't even change. Like unless you smell like if you overheat it, you know, depending on the device you use, sometimes you'll smell that electrical kind of smell, but that's if you overpower this thing, or if you overpower the like the input from the solar or something like that. Because if you go too high on the volts, of course you're going to burn something out inside. But other than that, guys, I have used these in very small quarters, in RVs. I've used it in a van. I've used it in a number of places, and I'll tell you what, this is a extremely decent little unit, even though I've only had it a few days. I've tried it in a couple places already. Let's see here. So 938, and you can see 938, 937. See how it bounces just a little bit, but very accurate as far as the display. I like that a lot. Okay, so all I smell now is obviously the heater when it warms up. It's a radiated heater. No smells. Here's your temperature here. Let's see here. Oh, it's on Celsius, guys. That's no good for us. Okay, so you have 78. Here's the top of the unit, 78.6. This is the output over here, 74, and that's obvious reasons that it's less is because you have the fan cooling down the airflow. But so far, guys, we're building up literally nothing. I mean, 78 degrees is literally nothing. That's an electronics sleeping is what that is. All right, so now we're going to push it up and we're going to see if it can take that that 1,000 watts. Let's see. Well, we actually know already that it can take 1,000 watts. Let me put one of these bad boys on there. Hopefully you can see that okay. Let me raise this up just a hair bit. Okay, and this is a 180 watt, a 200 watt heater. I know it sounds goofy. It's rated at 200 watts, but it usually comes out at about 180. The one thing I like and I dislike about the unit is the power outages output is very good, but I would really have liked to seen at least 3 outlets. I don't know if you guys are the same, but it seems to be where, you know, you plug something in and then that leaves you only one less port, and I wish I had 2 ports, because if someone else wants to charge something, now all the ports are full. You can obviously get something very simple like this, and you can extend the ports very simply, as I put in the last video, and then now you can have obviously more ports, but you have to purchase this, and this is separate, and it's probably about $2 or $3. So it's not much, but it's very useful if you have to extend the ports. Okay, so we're going to bump that up here, and we're going to see if it can go. Now remember, we're past the 1,000 watts. This is a 1,000 watt inverter that's rated in here. So I have this heater blowing on me, and I have the radiator heater underneath the table here under the workbench. So being that it's winter time, I'm very happy to do these tests for you, especially when I'm using heaters, because I will not complain at all. So here we're burning 1,140 plus watts all day, and as you can see, it's running it. Remember, this is a 1,000 watt rated inverter, so it's designed to run at peak 1,000 watts, right? Very cool, with a 2,000 watt surge. So far we have a very, very, very positive output for the power here. I'll let it go maybe another 15 or 30 seconds just to see that it can withstand that, and then what I'll do is I will slowly bump that up. Let's see here, by putting another small heater on there. Okay, now guys, if you remember, this is where I have the one very small gripe, but I think it's a very valid gripe as far as the machine. Now notice that see, I'm out of ports, right? So that's where this comes in. I'll pop this out real quick. I'll put this in. This will start back up. We'll give it a second to catch back up exactly where it was. And this is a prime reason. Hopefully you can still see that okay. It's 11:31. So maybe I can turn it just a tad. Okay, and then you can also see it here, guys. 1.1 kilowatts. Now notice, guys, that this doesn't show 1,130 watts. It shows 1.1 kilowatts. That's the difference between the app and here. So once you pass 1 kilowatt, it shows a rounded number as opposed to the actual number. So I like to have seen the actual number here rather than 1.1 kilowatts. I think you would agree. Other than that, so because if in your calculations on paper, you would take the 1,100 watts, right? And you would forget about the other almost 30 watts burning here. So on your paper calculations, it would come a little bit with a discrepancy. However, it is burning actual 1,130 watts almost. So now what we'll do is we plug the second heater in, and I'm going to push it higher. Now remember, it's been going 1,130 watts almost for probably 30 seconds to a minute now, I would say. I think that's very, very positive for this machine. And then we're going to test the output of the fan. Look at that, guys, 77 degrees. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. You're burning 1,100, 1.1 kilowatts, guys, and it's 70-some degrees. That's crazy to me. Let me see if I can get a better reading here. 76, guys. It's nothing. The cooling on this thing is absolutely superb. We're 130 watts approximately over the rated power, and it's doing literally nothing. I mean, look at that, 76.8. The fans, Bluetti, fantastic job on the cooling style or cycle. You have a very good airflow. going through here, and it's cooling down the equipment absolutely superbly. All right, so we're going to bump it up now again, and we're going to see if it can take it, guys. So here you have now, look at your 1300 watts, guys. And notice it says 1.3 kilowatts. So you'd be off that about 35 or 40 watts in a mathematical equation for your notes. But guys, look at this. I mean, we burned out a good chunk of power here. We're running 1,336 to 38 watts. Guys, it's a 1,000 watt inverter. Is that awesome? I think that's fantastic. Big props to Bluetti for this one. So far, everything on this machine has been absolutely stellar of what I'm used to with testing a lot of power stations as far as the inverters and whatnot. Usually, I think the only other one that literally did as good as this one so far is, if you remember, the P2001 Oukitel. That one, oh, okay, so we tripped it finally. So guys, we ran 1,350. Let me turn them off now. We ran 1,350 watts, guys. That's crazy to even think about for a very long time. To reset it, you turn it off and then you hit the button again. Or you could have done it this way, I believe. Let me pop it again real quick here. It should be warm again. Let's test the heat right away. Look at this, guys. That's crazy. God, that's crazy. 76 degrees, guys. It's 72 degrees in my workshop right now. Maybe 71. It goes up and down depending on if the airflow goes on. But, wow, that's crazy. And then I'll turn this on again. And then we'll see if we can reset that from the app. Now, remember, we're burning out the 1,330 watts, guys. That's a lot of power coming out of this little box here. Boy, that's a lot of power. Unbelievable, the technology nowadays, where if you wanted 1,300 watts, you'd have to hook up to the grid usually, or you'd have to bring out a big generator like my Honda EU 2000i. Fantastic generator, but boy, who wants to lug all that gas, the smell of gas, all that bad stuff, guys. And then look at, remember, I just reset this, right? It overpowered the inverter, but look at it, it doesn't even care. It's literally going right back. That's the cooling of the system. It's literally cooling that inverter down. Look at 77 degrees. That's nothing. I can't stress that enough. Oh, guys, I do apologize. I was doing it backwards. I do apologize. This is the input. I thought that was the exhaust. Obviously, that's why it's so cool. This is the output. Okay, there, we popped it again here. So let's see if we can do, let's see here. And then reminder, turn on the AC. Okay, so, yep, so you cannot turn on from the app, guys. That's called user interface, or I forgot the name of it. There's a special name for it in the industry where the user has to hit the button manually. It's not an auto turn back on, because that's a liability issue thing. Okay, so let's do the testing real good again here. 107. Okay, that sounds more normal, guys. That's my mistake. That's why we do these in real time, guys. We're learning as we go here. Now we have let's see, we have a real representation of the power. I thought that was awfully low, guys. I thought that was great. That was like crazy low there. 78.9 input, and then here's your output here. Now notice we're not doing a draw. 108 degrees. Okay, that's more of what you're used to with the using of an inverter or power like that. That makes more sense now. That blew me away. I thought that was crazy. Okay, all right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do a let's see here, we got to get okay, I'm gonna turn on, let's get rid of these here, guys. We're gonna try the surge here, and we're gonna see if we can max out the surge as far as the powerlifting. Now, guys, I'm not a fan of powerlifting unless it's an emergency, okay? Give me 1 second, please. Let's see here. Okay, so what powerlifting does, guys, and I'll show you in real time. Powerlifting takes the voltage of a machine, and it oops, oh, I gotta turn this back on. It drops the voltage and it ups the amps. Now, what's dangerous about that is if you have anything with a computer in there, a microprocessor, things like that, technology like that, what would happen is it would possibly burn out or wreck the board. So what I'll do is the 2 watts that I'm drawing here that are not showing up is actually the draw from the standby temperature setting of that bad boy still. So that's where your 2 watts is coming. Now notice that it's not registering the 2 watts on the meter, nor is it registering the 2 watts on the app. So usually systems or the shunts are not as sensitive as possible, and they don't recognize smaller loads. If you remember, I just did that video with the which one was that? The Pecron E1500 LFP, and that one wouldn't recognize up to 10 watts output. So that's just something to keep an eye on, guys, that you're actually pulling out energy and it's not showing up. I don't know what the limit is. I'd have to test that further in future videos if I can't figure it out today, but just to give you an idea of you know, that's out there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to spike the system really quick, and we're going to do full blast. That's a 1500 watt heater, remember, and notice the fan kicked on right away, and then it tripped right away, obviously. So remember, it had a 2000 watt powerlifting. However, we don't have powerlifting on, so as soon as it hit that 1500 watts, right away it popped. And now how to turn the powerlifting on is you go into the little cog here, and then you go into the powerlifting, guys. Like I said, I don't recommend you using this unless you absolutely need it. So now powerlifting is on, and notice that this little muscle, guys, I don't have any muscles, guys, but this little muscle guy right here, this shows that the powerlifting is on, so you'd know that if you accidentally left it on while you use it. And you didn't have your app with you. So make sure this is off all the time unless it's an emergency. That's the best way to do the powerlifting, guys. I don't use it at all unless it's one of 3 things: an emergency, or an emergency. Just my opinion, but I stand true to that statement. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, now that powerlifting is on, we're going to put on a heater with no fan on it. That's the key. You have to have like a coffee pot or something like that, where it's a hot plate, where there's no fans or no motors or anything like that. I'm going to turn it on, obviously. Now remember, that's going to pull out 1500 watts, guys. So as you can see, the power is going up, but now notice that is a 1500 watt draw. But what happened was it only shows 1000 watts output, guys, right? So let me explain why. Now I'm actually using a 1500 watt heater, but it doesn't show a 15 watt here. So if you use the function on like a kilowatt meter, if you don't have one of these, guys, I highly recommend you picking one of these up. This could save you headaches or trouble or possibly a fire. This is a really good tool for this kind of thing. Okay, so you hit the function and it goes to kilowatt hours. That's how much we're pulling out of there. And then function. Now here's your voltage. Now notice one thing that's odd about the voltage, guys, right? 97.2. That's not good, guys, for electronics, laptops, things like that. It's terrible, because the low voltage will get you into troubles. Notice the pure sine is perfect. It's right good, but the power came down. And how I can prove this as far as the voltage is, now watch what I do when I put this down to 900 watt setting, and you can see it in real time what happens to that and why you should not use powerlifting mode, in my opinion. Now I'll put it down to under 900, and now notice what happened right away. You see this? Actually, I'm at 6. What am I at here? Sorry, I hit it too many times. So now we're on the 950 watt output, which is the medium. Now notice that just starts to do what's called voltage sag. Is once you get to the rated output, you're going to have a little bit of dip. That's normal, a little bit of dip in the voltage, but that's very, very good voltage. If it stayed at 120, obviously that would be the, you know, the bee's knees and the cat's meow, but usually it's very rare to see that. But now notice that voltage went right back up, right? So now what I'll do is I'll unplug this, guys, and I'll show you with that meter on. See, I can extend this now to 3. It almost looks like a robo power station with all the stuff connected to it. Okay, so we're going to put this in here, and then we're going to run the same. We're going to run the 950, okay? And now remember, the powerlifting is on. So I want to show you guys, this is why this is not a purely resistive load, and I had to learn this myself. I made the mistake, and like I said, that's what this channel is for. It's an educational thing for not only you guys, but me as well. I'm a student by far. I would never claim to be a professional in this stuff. I am just a huge fan of this stuff, as it changed my life for real. Okay, so I'm going to put on a 400 watt load on here, and of course this has a built-in fan, right? That is a motor connected to that fan. So as you see, when I turn that on, watch what happens to the voltage, and then obviously this will probably trip because that's not a purely resisted load, like a hot plate. So I'll click it on, you'll see that the power, notice that the power maxes out at 1230, right? But you see what happened to the voltage up here, guys? You see how it's dipping? And it's dipping at a solid rate, which means you're losing that voltage. And I'll do it in real time. As you see, it's literally dropping like 1/10 to 2/10 of a volt every second. And you see how it just keeps dipping down, and eventually that'll get low enough to either burn out that motor or hurt that motor. See how it's still dropping? This is why I don't like the powerlifting, guys. That's why I'm not a fan of this. Okay, see, 97.8 volts, guys. Now I'm going to stop the test because obviously that's not good to run a motor at that low a voltage. I have a bunch of these, so if this were to get broken, at least it would have served a good learning lesson for all of us who are watching. Don't use equipment like this, all because of that little goofy motor in there. You have to have a purely resistive load, which is like a hot plate, you know, for like a water heater for coffee and whatnot, or a heater with no fans, like a convection heater, which is a radiated heater, something like that. All right, let me put this away real quick here. All right, I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is real-time testing. I don't do the cuts and splices. I want people to learn in real time, kind of like a classroom. I'm not a teacher, but when you do tests in real time, it really helps you see the realities of what's going on in real time. I like that. Okay, so we're going to put this bad boy over here, and then we're going to put this bad boy back over here. Like I said, if you don't have one of those, guys, I highly recommend you getting one of those. It's called a kilowatt meter. This is actually a copy of a kilowatt meter. It's not a kilowatt meter, but yet it is. You know what I mean? Another company copied it. But guys, those are like 10 bucks. That's worth every single penny. Okay, you know, it'd be good maybe if a channel gets big enough, I'll give those away for free. I think those are an invaluable piece of hardware for anything using this kind of technology. Okay, so we did, I got my trusty list here, and we went over the 1000 watt, we went over that, we went over the outlets. These are 120 volts at 15 amps a piece. That's approximately the same as what you have in your house. A lot of people have 15 amp outlets. Some people have 20 amp outlets. All new houses have the higher one. So here's your AC charging. You saw that. The inverter test, I think, was a very good success. The AC inverter with the surge test, you saw it. We tried to get 1500 watts on it, and it popped at about 13.5 over time. So 1500 watts, you get like 1 second. So it may be something like a circle saw or something like that, that goes very strong and then drops down. Then you have a chance to use that. Okay, so the powerlifting test we did, as I said, I'm not a fan of that, guys. If you don't need powerlifting, please do not turn it on. Do not use it. Emergency. Remember the 3. Okay, and now we're going to do the inverter pass-through charging. So now this is a very big thing, guys. Let me move this out of the way here. A lot of people always like to know if they can have you know, energy coming in, whether it's solar or it's grid power, AC, and use your device right away. Now this device says it has it, so what we're going to do is we're going to test that. We got this big spaghetti cable here. I got to try to figure out a way to keep it up here. We're going to charge this now. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to, let's do, well, you know, I have the heater already here. I can use this one. Okay, let's plug this bad boy in here. Okay, let me straighten this, guys. If you ever have a crooked one of these, guys, straighten them out. It's always better, because if you put any pressure on these ports and you break them, you know how hard that is to change? You got to open up the entire machine, take these out, find that version of a port and put it back in there. It's not like a house one where you can just go pay $1 and swap it out in 5 seconds with 2 wires, or 3 if you have the ground. This is a pain in the butt to change this, guys. So on any power station. Okay, so we have 430 watts coming in, and this, remember, it's in standard charging mode. And then what I'll do is I'll turn on the AC, and then We'll test it two ways here. Let's see here. Okay, well, we'll do that test in a second. Okay, so here's your heater's pulling out no power, so we're going to turn that on low. Okay, so that's on low now. Now notice that your input went to 1,000 watts, right? And then let's put this back over here so we can see in real time what it's doing. Now notice that it pulled 1,000 watts from the wall, and it's using 600. So what that is known as pass-through charging. That's fantastic, guys. That means that out of the 1,030 you're taking from the grid or the wall, right, you're putting 600 watts straight through the machine into the actual hardware that you're using, right? In this case, it's the heater. But now look at, you have about a 400-ish, 450-ish or so, 430 difference. Now, where do you guys think that energy is going? That's still, if you remember, the 430 that we were getting before, that's going directly into the battery bank. So the nice thing is once this thing gets completely full, then that'll drop down to the same as what you're using plus the parasitic draw, but that's another story. So if you were using 600, you would see 600 come right from the wall, plus a little bit of energy that makes all the screen and, you know, the inverter. But that's great, guys, and you can see it in real time. One thing, I was going to not mention this till the end, but obviously you guys saw it. This is my first power station that I've ever had here, and we have, I think, I lost track, I don't know how many, 13, 14, something like that, pieces of power stations. And this one has the same as the app. If you see on the app, you have input, output of the AC, and input and output of the DC or the solar panel. I absolutely love that because you don't need this app to see exactly 4 styles of what's coming in. So if I were to throw in the solar power, right, which I'll do right now, guys, give me 1 second. Sorry about this, guys. Okay. I can just... Okay. Almost done, guys. Sorry. I should have had this ready here. I should have had it ready. Okay, so what we have here barely... Okay, boy, it just... Look at this. It just reaches... Boy, oh boy. Let me see if I can get a little bit longer here. Real-time live reviews. There we go. Okay, I needed a few more inches here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is this is coming from 2 REC solar watt panels that are 400 watts a piece. Now, obviously, that's overkill because this can only take in 500 watts charging, right? So what we're going to do, and I don't think the sun is out good at all today, so we're going to look at what it is doing right now in real time. So I have them hooked in parallel. Now this is called over paneling. The reason I like over paneling is perfect on a day like today. It's horrible. They have overcast, and it was supposed to be sunny. That's why I had this video designed for today, but the power is just it's not there. The sun is letting me down again. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this cable that comes with it, and this is the MC4s. So you put that in the meter here, okay? And then now you can use this directly into the input, and I want you to see in real time what's going on with this meter. So we'll plug this in here, guys. Oh, see, they're positive and negative. Awesome. Usually the square one is positive. They have it very nicely clearly marked. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, and then we're going to plug this in here. Now watch what happens, guys. This is pretty cool. We're jumping ahead a little bit, but now notice that you're getting a little bit of power. Now notice, see what this one did? This one dipped down a little bit. Now why do you think it did that? So we're getting 92 watts or 91 watts from solar, and as you can see on this bad boy here, 92 watts from solar, 939 from the grid, right? And then you have almost 600 watts coming out. So that's a very cool thing. And then if I were to use one more, let me see here. This will be a super test here. So we're going to put this bad boy up here. Okay, and then I need a 100-watt USB-C. This is where this technology really shines. We're going to use the 100-watt C draw. And then we're going to Make sure you can see that. Can you guys see that okay? Okay, let me turn this. Well, I won't even turn it on. So I'll click that right here. This is an input. This is something that I wish all power stations have. A lot of people have been asking for it, and I love it myself. So now notice this started charging, guys. But see, here's the important thing. If I can get all the spaghetti wires out of the way. Now notice that you have, if I can figure out a way here. Okay, hopefully you can see that, guys. Can you see that? Okay, thumbs up if you can see it, guys. All right, I can't hear you, but thumbs up in a chat room if we're doing a premiere. Okay, so now notice you have 4 meters going, right? And that's the same as on here, is you have 4 meters going. I absolutely love that option on these power stations, guys, or on this power station. It's the only one that I have like this. And then we'll check this will bounce all over the place here. 97.8, so obviously the fan is doing its job, and obviously I made that mistake, and I'm sorry guys of thinking that was the output. That's the actual input, but now we learned our lesson here in real time. It just felt like air was coming out, but that's the suction of the fan pulling the air around your hand. Okay, so you're pulling out 104 watts through this USB port. Now that's awesome, guys, because that's a power delivery port of 100 watts, and look it up here, you're getting that 100 watts. Great job, Bluetti. Your input is off the grid is 920, and then we have 100 in solar coming off 800 watt array of solar panels, guys. Isn't that terrible? That's 1/8 of the power that those panels could technically put out at its max. But now you see that everything is running together, guys. You have the output charge through, right, going into the heater, the output charge through going to the USB, and whatever's left of this little dinky power here, which is about 430 watts, which is what we had normally, is going into the battery cell. So not only are you able to continue your lifestyle or your vacation or, you know, your movie or whatever you're doing there, your cooler, very important, your refrigerator, your movie that you're watching on the side of your RV, hopefully if you have one, or a big screen if you put it outside. You know, just enjoy the outside, because remember, camping's coming. It's only a few days away. I'm just kidding. We got a couple months still before camping season starts here, but this is very cool, guys, right? You got 4 meters, and you can see them all individually in real time, so you don't need the app. That is fantastic. I wish every single power station had this feature. Like I said, I have a stack full. Let me double check. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. I have 16 power stations in this room right now, and the only one that has this option is the Bluetti AC70, the newest one that I was just lucky enough to review for Bluetti. I'm honored to be able to do this for you guys, because like I said, I'm hooked on this technology, and every one of these that I can get is like candy to me. I just can't wait to get my hands on it and try it and look at all the features, and then I can make a list of what I like better on certain power stations, and then what I don't like on certain power stations. Like this one doesn't have a wireless charging for a phone, guys, the AC70. Neither does the Energizer, but that's a whole different story. Because it has this handle, so they didn't really have room to put it. So now you have the options that you guys can see in real times, because like I said, I don't make commercial videos, guys. I want these things to be seen in real time by quote-unquote real people, if you will. And I'm just a regular guy that loves this technology, and I just want to show you guys, almost like, you know, when you were a kid, guys, you know, when you got the brand new bicycle and you just wanted to go out and show the world, look at how cool this bike is. It's that kind of feeling that I get from this technology, and I haven't had that kind of feeling for technology since the drones and RC era. If you remember that, it was very big in the 80s, and then it came back very, very big in probably the 2010 for the RC world, and then the drones started in about maybe 2012, 13, something like that. I have many drones. Love the drones, guys. That's a technology. But now here's the cool thing. I can take the love of the RC world and drones and combine it with the love of solar technology, and I can literally take a box like this, go out in the field and do RC off-roading and drone flying and all kind airplane flying, whatever you want, guys, in the middle of a field without making, look at that much noise. I mean, you could live. My RC cars make more noise than this thing. It's unbelievable technology. So now here we'll see what's really coming in here. We got 37.75 volts coming in from the panels. Now remember, those are 40, I think they were 48. Yeah, I think they were 48 volt, oh no, 45, I think they were 45, sorry. 45 volt panels. and there's 2 of them in parallel, and I'm only bringing in 2.6 amps. And now notice it's going up a little bit, but guys, the sun, it just has not been cooperating this year much at all. But summer's coming, so here we're up to 100 now, and then 102 actually over here. So this is pulling in a very, very good amount of power, considering that this meter says we're pulling out at 103, and we're actually pulling in 105 according to the meter. Now, whether or not that meter's off as far as the shunt is a possibility, but I do, either way, I like to see this as a higher number than this. It's only by about 1 watt, but that's really cool. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll turn off the heater, because we don't need that anymore. Okay, so then we tested the AC. Let's get the little list here. The AC inverter, we tested that, and now we're going to test all 4 of the USB ports here. So we'll put this over here. Let's see if we can get the solar over here. So we got to kind of squish it over here. Spaghetti wires, guys. I coined the term spaghetti cables. Well, I coined it Bluetti spaghetti, because when you're using a Bluetti machine, you know, it makes spaghetti, and obvious, so it looks like a bowl of spaghetti. Let's check the temperature real quick again here, guys. 96.9. Awesome. That's awesome. And of course, this isn't the right side. 78 input. So that's why it was, yeah, I feel embarrassed about that, guys. But that's, like I said, that's what reviews in real time are for. Okay, so we're going to try 4 USBs. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 of these for the grandpa ports, if you will. Okay. And then we're going to have this one. That's for 1. And then we're going to have this one, which is the second one here. Let me see if I can get this spaghetti wires, guys. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to plug in 1 USB-C. That's the power delivery port. Now remember, there's 2 of them on this machine. That's a fantastic feature. That's also another thing I'd like to see on all power stations, is not only this fantastic, beautiful screen up here with 4 individual output inputs, but 2 power delivery ports, guys, so you and the wife don't have to fight over who gets the better port. Awesome. That's a plus. Bluetti, thank you for stopping the argument before it happens. Okay, so we're going to take that one, and we're going to go like that. Now, this screen is extremely hard to see. This is an old power station. It's burning out. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can make some kind of shade. Well, that's hard to see in there, isn't it? Hopefully you can see that. So it's obviously pulling out at, let's see, a DC here, 60. Yep, it's only, okay, so this is only pulling out 60 watts, guys. So that's something to, and this is a 100-watt cable. So let's see what the dealio is with that. Let me grab one more thing here. Okay, so I keep all my cords like this, guys, and that way I always remember what it is. A small labeler and a small bag like this keeps your cords very, very ready for an emergency or when you need them. So what I'm going to do is, since this is only coming out at 60, I'm going to pull this off, and we're going to see if that's affecting that port. Maybe that needs a firmware update over there. Okay, yeah, see, we're coming out at only 61 watts over here. So we're going to try that over in here. Well, actually, let's switch this with a new cable just to verify, make 100% sure. If you do have a problem with your cable, you can verify by charging with another cable to make sure that that is a proper cable. Maybe that's not a proper cable, but I'm positive it is. So we'll see. This is off what's called my GAN charger, and that's what's see, it's 100 watts. So now notice it stopped at that 60 watts, guys. Now remember this, see this here? This says 100-watt USB-C delivery port, power delivery. So that alone is the first negative that I've seen. So I can plug this back in so we don't eat up too much power. This is the first negative I've seen with this system so far in real time here, is this is not putting out the rated 100 watts. And that, I don't know, maybe that's getting full. Boy, I cannot see that, guys. I think that's 86%. That screen is, it's literally dying. Hold on, let me turn off the light here. Okay, that's only on 87%. Here, let me show you guys here. Hopefully you can see that. See, 87, it's very hard to see, but see that 87%. That screen is literally dying on us. So obviously it's not full, right? And if I plug this over here on this one, maybe this can be a very simple thing like a firmware update. That's very possible here. Let's see what it goes up to up there, and then we can double check here. 50, 70. Okay, so notice this side, guys. This side's coming out properly, right? 90 watts. That's a little bit less. That's coming out at 90, and it says 89 up there. Okay, and then what we're going to do, now we saw this come out at 100 through this machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab that second cable wherever I put it. Oh boy. Oh, I lost my cable, guys. Okay, here it is. Spaghetti cables. Okay, so we're going to put this USB-C over here. And this is why you do a test in real time, guys. I just don't want to do a video and say, look, it comes out 100. I want you to see in real time what the reaction is. And that way you know it's not a scripted review. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can. I'll have to hold it up. Well, I think you can see it there. Can you? Can you guys see that? Thumbs up in the Premiere chat room here. Okay, I think you can see that. Okay, so this is coming out at 1620, and obviously all these ports, you know, they ramp up. That's called a soft start, which is really nice to have. It just doesn't just put out a bunch of energy like when you start your car. That's direct, straight energy. That's a lot of power going out of there. Okay, so we have, now notice we have 175, 178. Okay, see, isn't that strange, guys? Look at that. So we have 185 watts, which this one is coming out at 90, 99, right? And this one is coming out at 90. Okay, so I don't know if you could see that up there. 90 watts, okay? So now notice, guys, that's really strange that we're getting 90 and 90, which is pretty close to 100. It's not 100 each, it should be 200 watts. But now notice that we're getting 186 watts out, so we're 14 watts shy of what it should be, but it is working. But notice that this one didn't put out 100 watts until you use both of them. I find that very strange. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, yeah, see, that one's pulling out 100 watts. So let's switch them now and put the top one, right? And we're going to wait a second and then see what that pulls out. Okay, 13, 22, 30, 36. We're getting there, 50. See, now notice that one maxed out at 60. Maybe that has something to do with the power station. And then when you plug this one in here, remember we pulled 100 watts out with this power station. And we got 186 combined for the two. Maybe this one's getting a little bit, I wish I had two of these guys, because I don't have the meters and all the fancy stuff yet. But I use these as the output meters, because this is a real-time test, you know. It has, like, you see it, you know, it's, let's see, 114. Now notice it's going up here. I love the soft start. That's very cool. Okay, 150. Now notice we're only bringing out 156, which is, we're pulling out 60 watts up here. I know you can't see that. 60 watts up here, and you're pulling 99 watts in here. So it's very, very possible, guys, that it's this power station that's not doing so good. Because remember, when I go either one, whether it's this port here, right, we're pulling out, oh, see how it reset there? This is still plugged in here, see that? Okay, so basically when you pull them both off, this board has to reset here. And now, oh, no, see? Oh, wait, I bumped the button, I'm sorry. Okay, so I bumped it when I put my finger there to take the cord out. So it doesn't have to reset, okay. And now, obviously, you'll get your 100 watts out the single one, because we've done this already, and then we'll hook up all of these guys to see what kind of power we can get out max here. So we'll take, let's take this wire, and then we'll take this wire here. Okay, these bags really come in handy, guys, and then if you mark them, like I said, you can file them like this, and then you know exactly what you need. That's just what I do. It saves me a lot of time looking for cables. Okay, now notice it's coming out at 95 watts, guys. That's what we want to see. We want to see very close to 100. I'd like to see 100, but I'll take 95. You know, some things are not 100% as they're rated, but I would like to see 100 watts. Now notice that this says 99 watts coming in, though. So it's possible that the shunt that's inside there could be just a tad bit off. And I have no way to, or maybe I do. Wait, hold on a second here. See, I have USB testers, guys. I got all kinds of crazy stuff I bought over the years. And it's probably the inevitable. I didn't know I would be doing all this testing stuff, guys. So what this is a USB universal tester, and it will see how accurate. The same as what this is, guys, right? Except this is a USB version, so it can go either the USB-A or USB-C, or it has a micro adapter too that you can plug in here and use the micro adapter. I don't use that. It's been a long time since I used micro adapter, but it's nice that that's on there. So we'll unplug this. We'll plug this in the USB. And then, well, actually, before I do that, I'll show you what it does here. When you plug this in, and you go like that. Now, notice that it says welcome. I don't know if you can see that okay. And then, see, there's a bunch of little numbers on there and stuff. Hopefully you can see that, guys. So, the neat thing is it says, see, 5.14 volts coming out. And then if you put this bad boy into the USB-A, see how you can see the voltage coming out, see, 5.11. And that way you can test your ports to make sure that they're all active and giving out the correct voltage so you don't wreck your equipment here. So now notice that that's coming out 5.10, and then this one is coming out at what was it, 5.14 on the other side, 5.17, 5.18. So now notice, guys, that this side is coming out a little stronger than that side. Don't know why that is. Like I said, I'm not an electrician. Let's see here. Oh, I should put it this way. Yep, see? So you're getting 0.13 or 0.03 volts higher, which is not much, guys, but just in all transparency, that's a difference of a few volts. But now when I plug this in, guys, we can see the actual watts coming through, and then we get that set, measure twice, cut once kind of thing where we can test it. Okay, so we'll let that ramp back up here. We'll look at it in real time. There it goes. Okay, so the green is your amps, and then I can't even see that, guys. I think boy, I can't even see that, guy. My eyeballs are getting old. Okay, it says 9.9. Boy, I can't even read that, guys. So if you do the math, it's 5.17 times 1.92, which is 9.9. Is that 99 watts? No, that can't be. 10 watts? Oh yeah, look at that, guys. It's only coming out of 10 watts. So this meter is not good for testing these ports. So I stand corrected on that. Okay. Boy, I thought that would work on there, but it's not coming out. Matter of fact, oh, you know what though? I noticed this, guys. Remember, when that was on, that only came out at 5.5 volts. Oh, see? Okay, so now that I reset it, guys, notice it changed. I think I had to plug it in again with the draw on. Notice it's coming out now at 20 volts. That's what you want to see. So when I plugged this in by itself, the system said, okay, this thing only needs 5 volts to run. So now it's correct. See, now it's 80.2 watts. That's why I couldn't find the wattage, because it was so low. Now notice we're 99.8 watts, 4.99 amps at 20 volts. That's a 100 watt output. And then notice that this only says 95. So the shunt of this machine is a little bit off. But notice this one says, let's see what it's doing. It's 100. Yep. So 100. See, it doesn't have a place for the third, so it's actually 101 watts. So you'll see that go from 99.9 to what looks like 10.1, but it's actually 100 to 101 watts. You can verify that up here. So this is a pretty neat little thing here. It's a neat little tool. I highly recommend one of these guys. And now what we're going to do is we're going to plug everything in to test all 4 of these ports in real time, of course. And even though we're not getting the full 100 watts on this one, I think it's the power station, obviously. Maybe because, these are lithium-ion batteries, guys. So maybe they're getting a little old. But I kept this around because of that feature, the input-output of the power delivery port, which I absolutely love. That was one of the main reasons I kept this power station here. And now we're going to go in here. And then we're going to go, the heavy one. Now this is a micro, this is a little baby old one, but this is 20,000 milliamps of 5 volts. This is a lot of power for a little brick. Let's see, we'll put that in here. Okay, so that's going. I don't know if you can see that. You can here, see how it's flashing? You can see that it's on, guys. And then you put it in here and use this one. This way, okay. That's why one major reason I don't like that the micros is because you can never see with the old eyeballs which way it's supposed to go. Now you can see that one's flashing, guys, and now we're pulling out 193 watts, which I believe this meter is a little bit off, guys. I believe we're actually pulling out the full 200 rated watts because we tested on the little meter here. You can also get one like this that has all three, or you can get one like this that has one. If you're going to get one of these, guys, I highly recommend you get one with the 3-banger there. That way you can swap it and use it for whatever you want. But remember, if you're going to use that, plug in the device first and then plug it so the system understands what you're trying to charge. That's why it was stuck at 5 volts there. So that was a learning thing for me too. I don't use that thing often. So there you go, you're using all 4. You're pulling out, according to the meter, 193. I have no way to test all 4 of those. I don't have 4 meters. It'd be nice if I had 4 of these bad boys, but I don't know if they'd fit in there. Maybe they would. I don't have any USB-C ones other than this big boxy one here. But there you go. So all 4 ports are charging at the same time, as you see. This is flashing. This is flashing. This is going at 99 watts. Hopefully you can see that. This I know you can't see, but this, I think this power station is ready for, at least the screen is ready for the grave here. But there you go. So you have a full test of all the DC ports here, the 2 grandpa ports. Guys, I wish that these were quick charge 3.0s. I understand why Bluetti did it. It's a cost saving thing, but I would have liked to have seen the quick charge 3.0s. You can bring your power like this, a little brick, and plug it in here, but that kind of defeats the purpose, guys, because you lose in the conversion. You lose a little bit of percentage, which is about 10%, maybe even up to 20, depending on the the block you have, as far as the quality of the brick, and then that's 10 to 20% of power you lose for no reason. So I would have liked to have seen quick charge 3s on here, guys. What you can also do is they make these little tiny adapters. I know you guys have seen them. I don't know if I have one laying around here. I don't use them very often, but it's a little tiny plastic adapter that has a USB-C on one side and a USB 3.0 on the other side, and you can pop it in there and use that power to get that quick charge 3 out of the USB-Cs. But remember that you have to bring that along with you. All right, so we're going to pull this out. We've been charging the GVs out of this thing. So far it's flying colors here, guys. I haven't had any regrets so far as the quality of what I'm looking for. Okay, we set that over there. We'll pull this power station off. Now we know that that works. What I'm going to do is plug in my GoPro camera, because I don't want it to. Guys, I've been known to outrun GoPro cameras, so I'm going to plug this in here. And all right, I ramble so much I can outlast batteries. Okay, so I believe it's recording. If it dies, then I'll have to restart it, guys. Hopefully it is. I can always look on one of these things to see if I'm actually pulling out power or not. Or you know what, let's just use here. Let's just see here. All right, let's see if I'm actually using the power from the power station. Turn this off. And then, let's see, that's slow start. Nope, okay, so it's not working. So I'm gonna stop the video real quick, and then I'm gonna start it right away, and that way I can get this thing to actually put out energy here. Let's plug this over here. And then, because I don't want the video to die while we're using it. Okay, let me pause it. Okay, and we're back. Hopefully it's charging, guys. I think it is now. So we got about 30% left on the battery. Okay, so let's get our trusty dusty paper here. Boy, it's hot in here. All this testing here. Okay, so that was a flying color test here. Now the cigarette port output charging, which is this one, we're going to see what that puts out here. So once again, we got to get a special cable. Let's get rid of the solar here. I got the cables all over the house here. Now Bluetti gives you this in the box, and this allows you to go from here, okay, into the XT60. Oh, I don't have that. I got to get another one here. Well, you're always constantly looking for parts here. So I've got a small box of all the ones that I usually use here, guys. So let me just grab one of these bad boys. I believe it's this one. And nope, that's the barrel outputs. And this one, it's probably this one, guys. Now normally I have these all put away properly. No, it's not that one either. Holy crap, Zilla, guys, how many cables does he have? Okay, there it is. So this bad boy here. Okay, that's why I keep that little box. Those are the ones I always use on a daily basis. So what we're going to do now is we're going to plug this in the output of the DC. We're going to turn off the AC because we're not using it. We're going to turn on the, well, actually I'll plug it in first to the input. Matter of fact, I'm not going to use that one, guys. No offense, Mylon, I think that power station is it's not a 100% one anymore. There's better buys out there, guys. Okay, but it did its job for, you know, what it was. So I'm going to plug this in now, and we're going to see in real time what kind of power we can get out of this bad boy here. Let's see. Let that go. All right. And then, oh, I got to turn on, see, I got to turn on DC. I always forget to do that, guys. That's a big thing. Make sure if you plug it in anything, make sure you turn it on. Now, notice that power came right out right away, and it's only coming out at 40 watts. Now, the reason it's only coming out at 40 watts, guys, is because this machine can only input like 50 watts. So this isn't the best one to use for the test. I did forget about that because it's such an old model. Let's see if I can use, because this would normally come out at about 100 watts or so. Okay, so we're getting 40 for sure. Okay. I wish I had all the fancy equipment, guys, but obviously that's going to take time. You know, the channel, it's a brand new channel. It's probably just over 1 year old, so it's a newborn, if you will. All right, and that's obviously the wrong one for that, guys. It's a 5525, so I can't test that. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Okay, so, well, that test will have to be done another day because I don't know where that plug is, guys, and I don't want to go running around and finding it. Holy crap. So, okay, you know what, guys? I'm going to have to stop it again because I don't want to take, you know, 10 minutes looking for a cable. I got to go in the big box of cables. Give me 1 second, and you can see where the power is, and that way we continue at the same power. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll stop the video. Okay, I'm back. I could not find the cord, guys. This is you saw this in real time now. This is one of the biggest headaches with the older power stations is the new power stations, for the most part, come out at a 5521 barrel. That's 5.5 millimeters on the ring on the outside and 2.1 millimeters on the pin that's on the inside. Now the old ones, or a lot of power stations back in the days, this one is 5525, which means it's the same 5.5 millimeter on the outside ring, but the inside ring is 0.25 or 2.5 millimeters, which obviously this doesn't fit, and I have not charged that way in a very long time. So unfortunately, I cannot do that test today. I apologize. I cannot find the cable. That is, I believe, the only power station that I have that uses that 5525. I don't know what I did with the cable. I must have lost it. Like I said, I do apologize for that, guys. But this is, like I said, it's a real-time review, so mistakes are going to be made. Okay, so what we're going to do now is look at the list here. We have a cigarette port charging output, 12 volts to 24 volts at 10 amps. So you'll get about, if you use the XT60, you would get up to about 100 watts input on this I'm sorry, on the output. Boy, I'm getting confused now. You get about 100 watts output on this port when you're charging something else. I usually, I can't remember, I'll be honest, the last time I used this, I can't even remember I used a cigarette lighter port for anything. It's nice to have as backup, but I never use it. You'll expect about 100 watts out of there. Every other system I've ever had the same, and I don't expect any difference from Bluetti. Okay, now this one, now when you're charging from the XT60, let me mark that off here. Okay, so the XT60 can charge from the car, or if you have a big rig or a big diesel truck with an oversized alternator or something like that, you can go up to 24 volts. So expect about 100 watts input on this, up to 200 watts on a 24 volt system. And then that's 12 to 24 volts at 10 amps, and it's 13.6 volt regulated, which is the output. So this comes output at 13.6 regulated output, and then this obviously can take in whatever you can put in there up to 58 volts. So it can actually take a little bit more. I've seen it go up as high as 59 or even 60, but I don't recommend that, guys. Try to stick with you know, the parameters. There's a reason they write this on there, guys. You could put two 300 watt panels in series if they're, you know, 30 30 volts a piece, like 29.9 or something like that. But I don't recommend it, guys. Try to have yourself a little bit of headroom in case you do have a power spike or something like that, or a voltage spike. If the sun comes out all of a sudden and the voltage goes up real quick from a cloud or something like that, sometimes you'll see a small power surge, and then, you know, obviously you don't want to burn out your machine, so you don't want that. Okay. Let's see, I got talk about the cool screen. Guys, I made myself a note because I can't stress this enough. The screen on this unit is absolutely fantastic. I mentioned it already with the input and the output on 4 different meters. It's like having one of these on 4 ports. That is the cat's meow and the bee's knees for sure. Very happy about that. And I actually wrote that, if you want to look at that, it says talk about cool screen, because that literally, it says 4 meters. I wanted to make myself a note, guys, because that is absolutely fantastic for this power station, being a budget power station too. Battery capacity test. So the battery capacity test that we had when we did the other cycle was, I didn't do that in real time because it takes so long, guys. That's the only thing I really can't do in real time, because it takes so long. It takes you know, sometimes an hour or 2 hours each to do a DC, and I don't know how to speed up the videos yet. So I got 691 watt hours from a DC capacity test, and I got which is about 90%, guys, which is fantastic. Hopefully you can see that. And then on an AC, I got 690 watts. So I got 1 watt less than the DC, but still that's in that 90% 90% percentile, if you will. I don't know how to say that, but fantastic numbers, guys. That's a fantastic number for Bluetti to have as far as the efficiency of the inverter for DC and the inverter for AC. I think that's absolutely fantastic. It has 20 millisecond UPS, which means if you're using something like a computer that doesn't have an internal battery, it's 20 milliseconds is fast enough to switch over from the input grid, the UPS from the grid, into the batteries, and that way you don't have the interruption and your device won't turn off. You can try that with a TV or something like that. All the laptops that I have, guys, unfortunately have built-in batteries, and you have to literally open them and unplug the batteries from the inside of the machine. So I don't have any, all the laptops I have are kind of the newer style. So I wish I had something to test that with, but I have tested it with my TV, and the TV turns on and turns off right away when you unplug that. Matter of fact, here, if you see this, so let me see, I believe it's this one. Okay, so there you saw the TV turn off, guys. So this is obviously the TV from this plug. So if I put this in here and I turn this back on, let's see if it pops back up here. We just got to wait for it's a smart TV kind of thing, so it has to reset here, and then you push the button, there it goes. HDMI 2, that's my connection here, and then we just have to wait. And then we have, let's see, well, the video came out on the wrong screen, guys. All right, give me a second here. Okay, the video came out, the TV's on, guys, but my video, there it goes. Okay, there we go. Okay, we had to reset it. Okay, so now notice that we're using from the grid here, and that is the cable going to the TV. So if I yank this out, that TV should stay on, right? So we're going to try that in real time. A TV does not like interruption of electricity. There's no battery inside TVs other than maybe a smart battery for the time and everything, like a little BIOS battery. Okay, so I'm going to rip this out of here. You ready? 1, 2, 3, ba-boom. Did you see that little flicker? Very small little flicker, which, well, the whole screen's flickering with the flicker rate, but there was a very small little, like that little flicker, letting me know that the power switched from here to the batteries. But notice it's still running, and I can confirm that, guys, by going like this. If you watch, 1, 2, 3, boom, and there goes my TV. It just died on me. So let me put that back real quick. Put that back over here, and then we got to turn that back on. Spaghetti cables, guys, nothing but spaghetti cables. All right, so that's got to reset yet again, and then we'll see that kick back on. Okay, and put this back over here and make that big again. Okay, so now you know that the UPS switchover is really good enough to keep something without a battery running. Okay, so we have, let's see, the battery capacity test we did. Now the solar over paneling, I talked a little bit about that before, guys. The over paneling of solar panels, that means getting more panels than what you need. I am a huge fan of that and a proponent of that 150,000 million %. And this is the reason. Today is a crappy day, and as you saw before when I had that solar coming in, that's an 800 watt array, but because the solar is so bad today, I'm still able to get 100 watts in approximately. Now if I had only one panel at 400 watts, that means I'd only be getting 50 watts in, that's terrible, guys. So when you over panel, you're able to bring in more energy on bad days. Now the only drawback of that, of course, is when the sun is out fully, you don't get to utilize the full solar panel output of both panels. However, if you look at the ratio of great days to crappy days, guys, you're going to have a lot more mediocre and crappy days of solar than you are perfect days. So in the long term, it's better, more energy in the long term. If you made a note here and you wrote down the solar input of how much percentage or whatever watts you got for every day, you would find that over paneling, you would get more long term because you have that extra panels for when it's not good or mediocre sun. So that's a very big thing. We talked about the very, very important. If you over panel, guys, this is you cannot skip this part. Okay, this has up to 10 amp input, okay, and this has up to 58 volt input. Now here's the big thing. The amps you could actually go over. There's what's known as kind of like a governor in here. So those two panels put out about 10 amps a piece, okay? So obviously I can't put 20 amps into here. So what it does is it drops the amps down to 7.5 on one panel and 7.5 on the other panel. I'm sorry, 5 amps on one panel and 5 amps on the other panel, which equal 10. So that way you're utilizing 50% of each panel. But remember, that's 800 watt array. You can't even put 800 watts in there. But the dangerous part is, guys, you have to make sure that you stay under this voltage. You can overamp it, but you can never ever overvolt it. That's the scary thing, guys. You could start a fire, you could burn out your batteries, you could burn out your MPPT controller, you could burn out your BMS in there, or you can burn out your entire thing and have a 25-pound brick. 22.5 actually. But that's something to always remember. You can go over the amperage because there's a governor in there, right? Like a cruise control on a car, but never go over the voltage. That is a lifetime tip. I'm not going to call it a pro tip, but that is definitely an amateur tip, guys. That with leaning towards pro. Don't do that, okay? No wireless charger on top, guys. Like I'd mentioned before, I would have liked to have seen this. This is a budget model now, but I would have liked to have seen, there's lots of space up there. You see that? Look at all that space up there, guys. It would have been nice if Bluetti would have put a wireless charger in there, even though I don't have the technology for wireless charging. I thought I did on my little earbud things that my wife gave me, but I don't. She does on her pro versions where you can set the little thing there and you can charge. But remember, this model does not have wireless charging on it. And then you have your Wi-Fi or Bluetooth for the app. One of the strongest points, once again, is you do not have to use the Wi-Fi if you ever, unless you want to register it, guys, you never, ever have to use that. You can go straight to Bluetooth, as I showed you. It's just that quick. The app is very, very functional. It had a lot of testing behind it. Bluetti has had a lot of updates and a lot of R&D, if you will, research and development on this app, and it works very, very good. And then you have obviously your Bluetooth connection, which remember, I'm not on the Wi-Fi still, and this has not locked up or froze or crashed not even one time, and this has been rambling for almost 2 hours now probably. And then this is your it looks like a Wi-Fi meter, but it's not. This is a Bluetooth meter, distance meter, so you can get within about 30 feet, depending on if there's walls between you or if you're outside and there's trees, things like that. So you have to stay within a good 15, 20 feet, I found is best for this model. You can go up to 30, but I recommend 15, 20 feet. That's the length of our RV, so I could put this in the back of it, and I could be way in the front while I'm driving, and I could pull out the phone, not while you're driving, guys. Pull over, and then I can stop this if it was doing whatever it was doing in the back. So that's a very good thing to have that feature on there. And then the last thing that I can go over today is, actually two more things, is I don't know if I did it or not, it's been a long video, the solar charging prioritizing over the AC. I think that's fantastic, and that way if you do have it hooked to the grid all the time, it utilizes the panels when it can, and then it goes back to the wall when it can. That helps you save on your solar bill or your electricity bill. I think that's fantastic. And now the last thing, guys, which is the most exciting part, which is the most amazing part actually, Bluetti offers a 5-year warranty on this model. That's crazy. I think that is an industry leading. I haven't seen any higher than that. At least I don't remember seeing any higher than that. 5 years is a long time. These batteries have a 10-year span to them, to about 80%, and then you can use it past that. But guys, that's half of the lifetime of this unit that you get a 5-year warranty. I think that is absolutely fantastic. All right, that'll bring in conclusion, guys, to this video. This has been update number 2. I promise to do this in real time so we can all kind of sit and learn in real time, and that way I can learn as well too. These are teaching videos that I'm making for myself as well as for other people to enjoy, and that way we can all learn our favorite hobbies together, which is solar power. This has changed my life. I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it a million more. This is a fantastic technology. Now that we got away from the lithium-ion battery packs, the chances of fire is almost nil, because they don't have what's called thermal runaway with the lithium iron phosphate battery pack that's in here. That's a nice, wonderful thing, because if I took a lithium iron battery that's this big, this small, right, with a little cord on it, you know, for an RC car or something like that, this little battery pack can burn down your entire house in less than 5 minutes. It's unbelievable. If you want to research that, go on YouTube and type in lithium ion. That's ION, not lithium iron phosphate. It's a different battery composition. Type in lithium ion, thermal runaway, or fire or something like that, and you will see tons of videos. You'll even see Teslas start on fire because they use that lithium ion in there, and I wish they would go to lithium iron phosphate, but obviously it's much heavier, so that would weigh down the car more. But I think the safety is worth it, guys. I'd rather get less distance on a Tesla. I don't own one, but I'd rather see less distance on a Tesla than more fires. So I'm a big fan of that, obviously. And of course, guys, if you're not a subscriber of this channel and you keep coming back and watching the videos, please subscribe to the channel. Be a part of what we call the subscriber family. We're a collection of solar power enthusiasts that really like this industry, and we're all working together to figure out, is this power station right for you? Is that one? Is this style of charging right for you? Is that solar panel good for you? And all together we have a team of just individuals from around the world that literally come together and figure out what's the best bang for your buck, or the best technology or charging style or using style. Like, I highly recommend not going over 50% rated load of the inverter for longevity of the inverter and the battery cells, guys. So if it's a 1,000-watt inverter, try to stay around 500 watts or even less. Then it lasts a long time. If you got, you know, it's like having a Cadillac. A Cadillac can do 100 miles an hour sleeping, but if you go 50 miles an hour with a Cadillac, boy, that engine lasts a long time because it's purring. It's literally purring, and that's what I look for at this too, is if your gas pedal is half down and rather than all the way down, your car is going to like you a lot more, guys. If you find the information of these videos helpful and you want other people to find it, like, subscribe, or share. That helps the algorithm, which I just learned about this week. YouTube, it helps other people find these videos, and maybe, I know it's a long ramble, guys, but it helps everybody get a real world review of these things so they can see without any commercial influence whatsoever. Even though Bluetti sent me this 100% free of charge for this review, and I get to keep it, I am 100% brutal. If I find something I don't like, I tell you about it. I don't pull back. And if Bluetti doesn't want to send me any more power stations because of that, I accept that. But they've been very forthcoming, and they've sent me 3 now because it's an honest review, and I think that helps this industry and this consumer market, because this is a real review, guys. Like, right away, what I don't like on this system right away, I want to see that wireless charging put back. I'd like to see it. I know this is a budget model, but I'd like to see that back. However, on a plus on this model, remember, you have this screen. That is the best screen that I have on every power station that I own, and we have 16 power stations, guys. This is by far the best screen out of all those, and where I don't have to use the app. I can if I want to, but I'm not an app guy. I don't like that. It's nice, but I'd rather just see it right here. This is fantastic, and then I can use that if I need to or want to. I'd like to see that third AC output at least. I'd like to see 4, to be honest with you, but 3 would have been better. And I don't know what made them choose other than obviously the cost. I would have liked to have seen 3 AC outputs. Just because, as I showed you, and I ran out of ports so quickly. So I'm very brutal about my reviews and what I don't like about power stations. I think that's a very valuable opinion. I also, guys, I do not like that these are the grandpa ports. These are only 12 watt outputs. I'd like to see these quick charge level 3.0s, which are 18 watts out, so you can get it done and get where you got to go without having to buy the adapter. Well, now what would have been nice is if Bluetti put a little adapter in there. They cost about $1, $1.29. I see them. You can go to AliExpress and get them for like 29 cents, right? It's crazy how cheap that thing is. And they could have threw one of those in the box, but I didn't want to see that. I'd rather want to see a quick charge 3.0 on here. So that's the 3 things I'd like to see, which is the upgraded ports, guys. I'd like to see 3 outputs, and the third thing is the wireless charging. So even though they sent this to me for free of charge, 100% free, it's a sponsor review. This is 100% honest review because I don't like that, I don't like that, and I don't like that. I'd like to see if those 3 were updated, guys, and put back on this unit. Not to mention, notice that there's no barrel outputs, guys. I don't use barrels at all for anything, but I'd like to see at least 1 on there on future models because I think other people utilize that. Or would be nice as a XT60 output. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Maybe at a 24 volt output, I think that would be great. So the 3 things I don't like, plus this extra one, which I don't know if that's really a bad thing, is the little barrels, because I don't use them, but you might use them. You might need them for something, you know. I don't, you might. Yeah, other than that, guys, very responsive app. I think this is a very, very good machine as far as what you get bang for the buck. It's the timing of this video is approximately what's the date here? It is 1/31, so it's January 31st, guys. And let me grab my calculator and put it on the screen over here, guys. Okay, and this machine costed $500 right now of what I've seen on the website. So I'm going to divide that by 768 watt hours, and you'll get approximately 65 cents per watt hour. I think that's good. I think Bluetti is starting to come down. When I first started, these were very expensive, up to $2 per watt hour. And if you actually get the real rated watt hours, which is about 690, remember? So you take the 500 and you divide by 690, and you would get about 72, approximately 72 or 73 cents per watt hour real world cost. And I like to do that to show people right here. I don't know if you can see that, but I like to show that because that is the real world cost of the watt hours of actually what you're getting, because you lose in the conversion and everything. And if you notice that 65 cents to 73, let's say 73 cents, that's not much difference. So very, very good inverters in here, 90% plus outputs on the inverter capacity. I think that's a stellar number. That's anything 90 and up I like a lot. Some of the systems are dipping down to the low 80s. I don't like to see that at all. Jackery's got a very good output on theirs, and they just got into the lithium iron phosphates circus, if you will. But all right, my notes are done, guys. I know I rambled a lot, and I really, really appreciate it and love that you spent your time listen to me ramble and learn a little bit about this technology. As I said, it's changed my life. All right, guys, ramble on, be safe, and we will definitely see you here again on Ramblin Bob Reviews. Bye, guys.